Dr. Mungiger and Honorable President, and to all of you, I would like to say Jai Bhim. I think that we have already entered a new millennium. We are in the middle of an election, and I'm not supposed to talk about elections. I suppose there's electoral commission law, but we are in the middle of an election that nobody can predict. The parties we have known, the Hindutva party, the other party whose name I forget, are sinking. Instead of madam, people are talking about Bahinji. It may be, we cannot predict this election. The same thing happened earlier in U.S. A man with 2 Muslim names and 1 African name has been elected president, Barack Hussein Obama. And 5 years ago, 3 years ago, none of us would have predicted that. So the world is changing. But Dr. Mungiger spoke about how we stand on the shoulders of the past. Somebody has said that actually, if you want to look at who is India's Obama, it is Omvedt. But I think that in many ways is true. But I also remember that when Obama was elected, there was an SMS that was passed from mobile to mobile throughout the country. And it was this: Rosa sat so Martin could walk. Martin walked so Obama could run. Obama ran so your children can fly. Now, what does this mean? We know who Martin was, Martin Luther King. But do you know who Rosa was? Rosa Parks was a woman who started the civil rights movement in 1959. She was not a leader, except as a local activist. She was a common maidservant, a molkarin in Marathi. Molkarin. At that time in the United States and the South, there were, there are written laws and unwritten laws. According to the written law, according to the Constitution, untouchability is abolished. According to the Constitution of the U.S., racism was supposed to be abolished. But in the South, at that time, there was an unwritten law that whites can sit at the front of the bus, blacks could only sit at the back of the bus. Rosa Parks, who was a maidservant, people then had to go 50, 60 miles on buses to get to their work. She came, she found there was no seat in the back, and she said, "I've had enough, I'm not going to take this any longer." And she sat down in the front of the bus, and she was arrested. And that set off the movement. It is not, out of that movement, the people of Montgomery, led by Martin Luther King, the blacks, decided we will not accept oppression any longer. And they walked 40, 50, 60 miles a day to go to work until this system was ended. And in that walking, Martin Luther King became leader. That was how Martin Luther King rose to leadership. So Rosa sat so Martin could walk. It comes out of struggle. It comes out of not only the struggle of leaders, but the struggle of ordinary people. They may be called Pandalini, as in parts of Maharashtra. If you go up in these Pandalini, you will find a stupa or a pillar with Satavahana inscriptions on it talking about Buddhism. If you go into what is called Mahakali caves in Mumbai, you will find, again, a stupa. You see, the Hindutva people talk about the invasion of Muslims who destroyed our culture, but in a way, the first invasion of destroying culture that was done when Hinduism or Brahmanism began to take over from Buddhism. The first so-called Hindu temple that we know about comes in the 4th century, is Shiva temple. Even in the 4th century, the Guptas, who were then the emperors, who are considered to be the glorious Hindu emperors, in fact, they were also completing the great stupa at Sanchi. So, if you look at Ashoka pillars and all of this, these come from, if you look at what monuments are available, the majority religion, the most dominant teaching in India, up until about the 5th or 6th century, was Buddhism. Jainism was there. There was also Shaivism of some sort. But all of these things change in passing. Now, what about Ramayana? Well, there's stories of Ramayana in the Buddhist tales. There's stories in the Jain scriptures and Buddhist scriptures. All of these give us a different Ramayana. There are stories among women, and Uma Chakrabarti has written about this, of a Sita's version of the Ramayana. In fact, there are 2 villages in Maharashtra that have Sita temples to Sita. And one of them tells a story that Sita, after she was forced out of Ayodhya by Rama, she wandered, she came to this village, Raveri, with her 2 children. She was begging for food. They would not give it to her, so she cursed the village that you can't grow wheat. And people say we did not grow wheat until the Green Revolution came. There's also a temple in that village with a fallen Hanuman. And the story that people tell is that when Hanuman came to take Sita back, her children shot him down. Like this, there is folklore throughout India of Sita, of a different kind of Ramayana.